Hi, I'm Sterling Hart, and this is Dreamlight, where we work on dream interpretation and using the insights in the waking life. Being afraid of heights is very common. Even some astronauts have talked about it. So what does it mean to dream of being in a very high place and feel afraid? Well, there are two things. One is the fear. The second is the circumstance, which may have many connections to a plot or other elements in the dream. The first thing is to realize is that the fear may not be about heights, but rather it can be a symbol of something else that brings up fear. Also, with fear in dreams, it may not be in proportion to the waking situation it's reflecting. For instance, I woke with a dream where a car had crashed. As I awoke, there was a strong fear, but when looking at the dream, I realized it was about a business I was involved with that was ending. Was I afraid? No, I was concerned, but it felt like things would work out fine. It was an ending, however, and there was concern about whether it would end well or be very abrupt and traumatic. The dream, however, with its hyperbole, allowed me to feel and work with the concern more directly. I didn't need to avoid the unpleasant possibilities or ignore the discomfort. The dream helped me to see it and work through it more clearly. So the first part is that fear. But the second part of the dream that we need to deal with is the circumstances of the heights. What do heights mean to you? Are you at a personal high? Are you scaling the heights of your career? Have you reached new heights? Are you on the edge? Are you able to balance? Is fear making you cling on to something? Things usually will arise from asking a lot of questions, and you will hit upon the right thing. Sometimes fear is a way that we sense when we are going beyond our normal ways of thinking and being. We go beyond our comfort zone. So in this type of dream, you probably are facing your fear. Something in your life related to fear is coming into your consciousness. You're becoming aware of it. Fears can be known and unknown. For me, I am afraid of heights. The symbolism would likely speak to some far-reaching thing, seeing from a great height, some major life decision, though this would be my personal dreamlike symbolism. Let's look at the example of facing a fear in a dream. My friend dreamed that he was approaching a dark house and knew that something inside was evil. When he got to the door, there was a girl there that he knew in the dream time, but not in the waking. She was very warm and welcoming, but he knew there was an evil inside. Upon questioning, my friend admitted to be afraid of dogs, and his girlfriend had one, and he had been making excuses not to go to her house. Upon realizing this, he went to another friend's house just to visit their dog and work on his fear. He didn't want to embarrass himself in front of his girlfriend. He eventually overcame it, or at least made peace with it. He's a cat guy. So the other thing that is characteristic of fear of heights is it's a situation where you know how you will react in that situation. If you see something like you were on a hiking trail and you see there's a place where it's overlooking a cliff, you know you're going to react to that when you get there. Another thing with the fear of heights is that it makes you kind of go down and hold the ground. And so there's that sense of how you react to the fear of heights. And one of those reactions is to cling. Another reaction is to get down. And you're likely to move away from the fear. The other thing with the fear of heights is sometimes something that you know that you're going to be afraid of it, but you're willing to pass through it because you know that it's coming and you know that it will be over. So I remember that one of the NASA astronauts talked about being afraid of heights, and when he would fly in planes, he was a pilot, he would be afraid when he was first in the cockpit taking off, but once he got high enough up, he was okay. And of course, the same thing would happen when he was landing, but it really didn't stop him. He was an accomplished pilot and obviously an astronaut. So that's one of the things with the fear of heights is that may be a fear that you know that you can face. So when looking at what that fear might represent in your life, you may be looking for something that you already know, and of course something that you would be willing to face. The other thing is to play out the fear. What happens if the fear is realized? If it's true, then you're going to fall. And so you have two things that come out of that is the falling and the impact. So those are things that fall from grace, something where you lose control of everything and are in free fall, something where there's going to be an impact. So most likely the fear of heights is different from, say, fear of a car crash, because a fear of a car crash might be something you didn't see coming. Somebody T-bones you, you never even saw them, and suddenly you're in a crash. Whereas the fear of heights, you're much more likely to see, you're going to have to crawl out onto the ledge, or something may crumble away and surprise you, but you already know that the cliff is there. Another thing with the fear of heights is that I have a fear of heights, so all I have to do is imagine myself in a high place. So my dad had a self-standing 160-foot tower that he used for ham radio, and I climbed up there when I was young, before I was afraid of heights, and I remember what it looks like up there, and just thinking about that suddenly brings on the fear. So I find that quite useful, because fear will tend to wake you up. It certainly cuts through other emotions. All I have to do is conjure that image, and in a sense, I haven't mastered the fear of heights by any means, but I have the ability to summon fear as needed. The summoning fear is useful because then, in a sense, when other things might make you afraid or you feel anxiety, you can face a fear and feel it head on without having to avoid the feeling itself. So in the dream, this can be represented by that, in the dream taking you into that situation where the fear of heights comes into play. If you got something out of this video, please hit the thumbs up. If you want more dreams, then subscribe. I'm Sterling Hart. Thanks for coming.